Why was the etched glass your favorite part of it?
I like the etched glasses because normally with like something like say like I'd have to have a whole lot of handhelds for a while. I think the last one I had was like the PSP. Not even
Jesus Christ!
Like the old PSP.
Yeah.
I've messed around with the Switch a little bit before, but I don't know. I like the matte finish on it, and I like that.
You can play it anywhere pretty comfortably.
Yeah, pretty comfortably. I didn't really play it outdoors much.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the screen plays with that, but it feels pretty bright and like the colors feel pretty.
I took it outside. I've got some B-roll footage of me playing it outside, actually, but I took it outside and it does do pretty well in sunlight. Problem is, though, is that if you have that backlight maxed, then the battery just drains.
Yeah, I tried to keep it at like medium.
Yeah.
As far as like battery life too, like that's kind of a downer to me.
It's
like,
paltry.
Like it's exactly 2 hours.
Yeah.
And if you walk away, you better just power it down.
Exactly.
I wouldn't even trust the sleep mode, honestly. I would just power it down. But it depends on the game too. So like what I did is I put on like a lightweight game, something kind of in the middle, in Death Stranding. Which Death Stranding, this was probably the most annoying thing I could find with downloading games, by the way, and just in general, was that Death Stranding was like a 6-hour download.
Yeah.
Which that's fine, but I wanted to put this thing into sleep mode and just let it go. Like, just put it on at night, let it go into sleep mode, and then just that'd be that. But currently, it doesn't.
Is there no option to change that?
No.
So like you can't even turn off that?
I looked it up. Like when you put this thing in the sleep mode, the downloads just stop.
Why? That is so stupid. Well, because that, I mean, like the Xbox, for example, if it has updates or you're downloading a big ass game, let it do its thing, turn it down or turn it off.
Yep.
And it's good to go.
Like the Switch has that, the PS4 has that.
Yeah.
I think that's weird that they didn't launch this thing with that capability.
That it does seem like a big misstep.
And the other thing, and I know they try to do the best they can for trying to sort through what games, like if you go through the library or whatever.
How do you feel the buttons feel? Like, do you feel like they're cheap, or do you feel like they're pretty well?
I feel like there's too many.
There's a lot of buttons.
I know this thing's designed to be future-proof, so you've got the haptic buttons on the front, which feels neat, but I don't have any games that use it.
Yeah. So
it's just a glorified, like, touchpad.
Yeah.
If you go into PC mode, which I'll ask about that later, but, you've got 2 buttons on the very back behind the grip, and then 2 buttons, a shoulder button and a trigger button on top. And then you've got, your traditional 2 analog joysticks, a D-pad, and your 4 buttons.
Yeah.
And then then there's like 4 pause buttons to me. This one up here, this 2 little ones up here, and then the Steam one. And then
then you have the ones behind your like pinky and ring finger.
So the whole time I'm like especially these ones on the back of the grip.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't like these.
Yeah.
Because I've hit them numerous times. Like I got Phoenix Wright, which is like just a visual novel thing where you can click through. And so many times have I gone to like set this thing down or pick it back up that I clicked and then I clicked through.
And it does something.
Yeah, I clicked through some dialogue and I couldn't read what it said.
Sure.
This game seemingly doesn't have a backlog I can read through. So that was kind of annoying. But I mean, other than that, it's nice, but I think I left off with feeling like this was a PC, like a very small PC.
Yeah.
Because you get to the desktop section, which I had no idea about until I was like, what's this option about going to desktop? I thought it meant maybe porting your games to your desktop.
Yeah.
But it's actually got its own version of, I think it's Linux.
That's what it's running, yeah. That's what its OS is built off of, is Linux. So anything that's Linux compatible in the Steam store should work on that. Which is a lot of things. To its credit, it runs a lot of stuff. I just don't know... like Skyrim. Skyrim screwed up pretty heavily on that for me. I couldn't really play Skyrim on that, at all.
Yeah. It was funny when I started this up, you had Skyrim loaded up.
I know.
The first thing I played. So the first thing I'm like, oh, it's Skyrim.
Yeah.
Why
Did you try it?
I turned to a person and I just cut them down.
You just cut them down
Just automatically. I saw a person, they were talking, and I was like,
first instinct is to slash your ass.
I've never played Skyrim before. It's the very first thing you want to do. It's just take your sword and
just rip into somebody's body. It is true. But it didn't play well for me on Sky. I don't know how you felt like it ran.
It felt okay.
Okay.
Like I only played it for like a couple minutes. It felt okay.
Yeah.
I played Death Stranding. That was like the heaviest game I messed around with on here. Was that, and it ran fine. It ran okay.
Yeah.
I was in a place towards the end game. I had no idea what was going on in the game anymore.
Yeah.
I forgot everything. I forgot how to load packages. I forgot how to drive the car. It was a mess.
That's Death Stranding. This is different topic, but that is Death Stranding's biggest issue is if you put that game down for anything longer than 3 days, pretty much got to start from the beginning.
Yeah, but literally it was like 90 minutes to 2 hours running it, and then I just had to plug it back in. So like the novelty of like taking this thing like into my living room and just playing it kind of like wore down very quickly.
Yeah, whereas the Switch battery at least lasts quite a bit better.
Yeah, I've heard from some other people it's also kind of 2 hours depending on the game. But I mean, at least this thing you can, with the Switch, I mean, you can, load it into the dock, grab your controllers and play on a big screen.
Sure.
Whereas with this, like you plug it in and you're confined to wherever you're sitting if you decide to plug this thing in.
See, I felt like I recall having the Switch and even playing like Breath of the Wild or whatever it's called, the Zelda game. Like I felt like I got longer than a couple of hours on that.
Possibly. I mean,
maybe I'm wrong.
It could be. I think it would probably be more like 2.5 hours. Yeah. But also, like, the performance that this is running compared to the Switch, which is running, like, games of, 980 or something like that?
Yeah.
It's running at, or 900p. That's considerably less demanding than running this game at full. But, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this looks so. Death Stranding is playing the way it should. Yeah, I mean, Skyrim, the formatting or whatever.
Well, that's one of the things I found confusing going back a bit is like when you go to look through the library of games that you can download and install.
Yeah.
Their system for telling you what's verified and what's not verified, I think could be like a little better.
Yeah.
It's okay, but I was confused at first as to what, because it's got 4 different icons for what a game is. You could either have it be verified, which is the green check mark, which that makes sense. Like, download it, play it, simple enough.
Yeah.
Then you've got like the ones it's like an orange or something. Like it'll play, but there might be some issues. And you might have to go into the options and change things to your liking depending on those issues. Like dialogue might be smaller than you'd like, than they would like it to play. But that means they've tested it, but they haven't worked out all the kinks. Then they've got, this is the part that was confusing to me, is they have unverified and untested, which is like, one, like they've checked, but they don't think it's going to run, and one, they just straight up haven't checked. They have no idea.
Yeah, and and they're doing this because they want the catalog to be really big on this thing, or as big as possible on this thing. That's why they're sort of lazily doing that, but... I guess more stuff that gets released will be, will be sort of optimized for the SteamDeck, perhaps. But there's just too many platforms for developers to be on now. I mean, between Oculus and this and Switch and PlayStation and Xbox, and they used to have the big 3, which was, but used to really just have the big 2.
And now you've got the big 3 buying up as many companies. Microsoft is buying up tons of companies now, so it's they're still allowing them to port these companies to port to whatever systems they like so far.
Yeah.
But for every time somebody wants to get in on this, it's going to be harder and harder for them to get everything perfect.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know, it's weird. But, all right, well, that was our Steam Steam Deck podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back with another podcast really soon. Oh, and as a side note, I think the only gripe that we really have with the Steam Deck is its price. It's just...
Yeah, that would be my thing. Is probably like, this is nice, but would I pay $650 for it? I don't know.
It's like a $300.
I feel like I could have my PC, and I feel like I could have my Switch. And be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be just fine.
All right, now we're done.